Welcome to PSAM's Tinctures and Edibles Emporium. Now today we're going to be making an oral spray, one that you can apply either sublingually if you lift your tongue, or you can spray it just in your mouth, and it will absorb through what's known as the buccal tissue, buccal, which is the cheeks and gums and other oral tissue. Of course, it will also include sublingual. Okay, and we're going to be making it out of Shatter and glycerin, vegetable glycerin, food grade vegetable glycerin, and then 190 proof grain alcohol. And this is kind of going to be a do it your excuse me do it yourself version of an application that many of you might have heard of. It's not yet approved by the FDA in the United States, but it's called Sativex or Sativex or however you pronounce it. It's spelled Sativex. It's made by GlaxoSmithKline, and it's a spray, And I was, someone was asking me on my Grass City thread about some oral applications for someone who had uh, throat cancer and wasn't able to smoke. It was difficult to swallow, so they were looking for, another means to administer um, the dosage of cannabis. And the unfortunate thing is with a green dragon tincture, which would have been a good way to do it, is that it burns like the dickens if you apply it directly sublingual or even in anywhere in your mouth. It will burn quite bad. It will, it can scars your tongue, the delicate underneath of your tongue after a while, and so I kind of like to avoid that, and so do many other people, especially new users or medical patients who aren't the tough old stoners. They it just burns too much, and it's not really a good way for them to dose. So anyway, what Sativex does is they use a, the only ingredients they have actually are cannabis oil. They have or cannabis, I should say, and ethanol, which is this, and vegetable glycerin, which is this, and peppermint oil, which is this. So I was looking, and the ingredients say those are the only four ingredients. The cannabis is THC 25 milligrams and CBD 25 milligrams. Then it's in a solution of alcohol. I'm assuming that the alcohol is the infuser, and the glycerin is used as the emulsifying agent. It will help reduce the burn. It will dilute it. It will also keep it in solution. There's a number of good things for it. It's a good medical application. But anyway, that's all it is. Gin, then with just a little bit of peppermint oil. So I thought, well, I can do that. I wonder how it is. I have tried doing a green dragon, just and flavoring it and putting it in the spray, and that's good, but it still burns. It kind of gets old after a while. You're not eliminating the burn, although it is a good portable way to dose, if you're out and about. But I'm looking for better medical applications here, and so I've started experimenting already. I took a little bit of a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and add it together, shook it up, see whether what would happen, and then I did another little experiment, with this time the first one was I guess you'd call a virgin batch, and then the second one was a batch using Green Dragon, and that seemed to work out well. The the issue with Green Dragon is that you don't always know what the dosage, what the cannabinoid content of it is. So you're kind of it's difficult to know exactly what the dose. Whereas with concentrates, as we're going to do here, where you already know what your dosage is going to be. Like today, I have 2 ½ grams, and there are two different kinds of shatter. This one, this was Bubba Kush. It's a ½ gram. It's BHO. This one is ethanol, and it's grommulin, and it's 88%. So we're looking at around 850 milligrams, 830 milligrams for our total concoction here today, and we're going to wind up with an ounce of solution of the glycerin shatter ethanol concoction. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do, we have to do it just like everything we do with shatter and cannabis of any sort. If we're going to be using it for ingestion, it needs to be decarbed. So for concentrate, that means for me, the way that I do it is I heat a hot oil to 240 to 250 degrees. And then I place the shatter in a little beaker and stick it in there. There's in my oil, there's a mason jar lid with the top turned up so that there's a little lip formed around it so your beaker doesn't fall out. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and place this shatter into my beaker and have it ready for when I had my temperature up to 250, but then I turned it down a bit, so now it went a little too far, so I'm coaxing it back up there, supposedly. Okay, another gram of shatter. So we're going to, it's going to be interesting, the two different types of shatter, because with glycerin you really have an issue with waxes and things. I have used, the only other time I've used concentrate was the last time I used a ½ gram of the grommulin, and the ethanol. This is a really clean shatter, the ethanol is. And I'm not really sure about this Bubba Kush. But anyway, there's our ½ gram of Bubba Kush. The ethanol is delicate, and they suggest that you store it under 70 degrees. So I've had this in the freezer. See, there it is. So, see if I can get it off the paper here. Come on. Now it's not wanting to come off the paper. part of it. Okay, let's get the rest of it off of here. Chisel it. Okay. Okay, there's that. And the last little bit of it here. Oops. Alright, get off the glass there. Now let's see. Need to get it off my. There we go. Okay. There's just a tiny bit on there. I'm not going to fool with that. Okay, come on, temperature. Okay, now this is ready to go into there as soon as my temperature reaches the 240 mark. And then when the decarbing, if you haven't seen any of my other videos or don't know how to do it yourself, you place it in the hot oil bath, and then it will melt, and then it will start bubbling, and then when all the bubbles are finished, then it's decarbed. And then when we take it out, we'll add some alcohol to it. We will dissolve it all up. We're going to add 15 milliliters of alcohol. Then once it gets all dissolved, then we'll add another 15 milliliters of vegetable glycerin. And we'll go from there. So I'll be back once we've got this, got the temperature up and started the decarb. Okay, my oil has stabilized at 250 degrees. So I'm going to place my gram of Shatter, a mixture of two different ethanol and BHO. I'm going to stick it in here. Sure, I keep my temperature stable. Right now it's at 250, and I don't want it to get any higher than that. You kind of have to watch it at first with oil, because it can heat up, and it can still, once the burner is off, it can still continue to rise a few degrees, and that's what we want to watch out for. We want to try and keep it right at that, so that it doesn't go any higher. Now, let's see. It's beginning to bubble. If you've seen any of my other videos, then you know that you know pretty much what's going to happen. I'm not going to keep you here for that. Once it has finished decarbing, then I'll be back. Okay, our Shatter has finished decarbing. There are no more bubbles, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the oil off. Didn't take very long, about 10 minutes. Let me wipe the oil off of it here. Okay, set it down there. Now, just bear with me a moment. I forgot to get my measuring cup, so I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my measuring cup here now. It goes down as low as 15 milliliters, are fairly accurate, whereas opposed to my beaker, it's pretty much off. An ounce 30 milliliters usually reads 40 milliliters or something like that. And I'm looking for a little more detail in my dosing here initially with this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure out 1/2 ounce or 15 milliliters of 190 proof ethanol, and then just a little tad more. Okay, there's my 15 milliliters of alcohol. and here's my shatter. It's already cooled down, so it's not liquid anymore. So now I'm going to pour this 15 milliliters of alcohol into my shatter. Then we're going to stir it around. And it's kind of sticky and doesn't really want to go into solution very well. It will eventually, but we're going to help it out a little bit. See, all the shatter's on my tool, so we need the alcohol a little bit warmer for that. So to do that, the alcohol's already off. It's down to 225 degrees now because it's sitting on the hot plate. So I'm just going to set this in here for a moment. Just enough to warm it up. Because actually, before I did the video, the alcohol was in the freezer. And so it's still a little cold. There we go. Now it's starting to drip off. Come off the end there. I think that should probably do it. If I don't spill it. See, I shake a bit. That's always my issue. The older I get, the more I shake. And so anything and everything can be an adventure. As you can see, it's off the tool now. Nothing left there. And it's nice and clear, as you can see there. Nothing left in it. As you can also see, it reads, whoops, there goes my light. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully the light will stay in place. But anyway, as I was going to point out, there's our dragon, I guess you would call it, our alcohol tincture with 1 gram of concentrate of shatter. It's 2 different kinds, and it doesn't seem like it really made any difference. The BHO and the ethanol mixed right in there very well. So that's our first chore, and we now have that taken care of. Off to the side there. Now we're going to do the mixing. We're going to take another 15 milliliters, but this time it's going to be vegetable glycerin. Try and get in the camera range here. So 15 milliliters, if my arthritic thumb can get it out here. Now, all of our potency is right here. There's about 850 milligrams there. Okay, let me check my line here. I'd say that looks pretty good. Okay, we'll set that aside. 15 milliliters of vegetable glycerin. Now here comes the fun part. I hope that it works. It has worked in the past. But what we are now going to do, I can get everything here settled so that you can see it. There's not really going to be much to see, hopefully. The big thing we're going to be looking for is to make sure that that there's no separation. Like if you were using Green Dragon, you'd have chlorophyll and waxes and things, and that would kind of collect on the side and give it kind of a skim, which is not something that we want. That's why we're using Shatter, because it's already clean, and in most cases anyway. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got. See if we can get it all down in there, and nearly all. Close enough, I guess. Close enough for government work. So it's good enough for us. Now, as you can see, we kind of got got two layers there. We got the glycerin on the bottom and the alcohol on the top with our cannabinoids. Now, we are going to take our stirring tool here, and we're just going to stir it. Stir it real good. Shake it if you had it in a jar, but this works really well. And there it is. There is our oral spray, our do-it-yourself Sativex, whatever the heck, activated oral gel. We're going to flavor it with peppermint. The tingle from the peppermint will cover a little bit of burn that's going to be with it. This is going to be, there's 850 milligrams in this 30 milliliters. It should be 30 milliliters. Although on this one it doesn't even show that it reached 30. So I may need a little more glycerin in it a little later. Probably a lot still left down here on the bottom of my thick. It's like what may be a milliliter or two still down there. I'm just trying to get an equal ratio. And by looking at the side of it here, it's not quite equal. Well, by looking at the layers, of course I can't see the layers now, but the glycerin acts as, I don't know what it is, it reduces the burn. It's very, very good orally for medical applications. It's used in many medications. But there it is. I'm going to let it sit now for a little while. Anyone who's familiar with alcohol, mixing alcohol and glycerin, and then sometimes getting the skim on it, often if you try to evaporate off the alcohol, and that's what we're not going to be doing here. We're just doing a nice spray. So I want to illustrate the fact, for those who have read my thread early on the thread, when I was messing with glycerin as an extractor, we all ran through those sorts of things. So I just want to point it out once, for those who are familiar and who see this. let it sit for a while, and show that there's not going to be any dark, oily skim or crust come up, line the sides and everywhere. It's just going to stay right like that. And then when I do come back, I am going to show you how we apply it. Actually, I'll do that now. I picked up a few of these little bottles, little spray sublingual spray bottles. I got them. My lab gave them to me. They were leftovers from some tests they'd done from a company somewhere, and these were initially a sublingual cannabis spray. And I don't know whether they ever went to market or whether they're going to market, but it's just really a very nice way to use it. You know, it's small. It holds about 7 milliliters, and the previous product, it said each spray was about 1 milliliter. It's not a lot, you know, and it's because you don't really have much length on the pump, but it's enough. It's if applied directly under your tongue or over your tongue, I guess you could say, not on top of the tongue, but in spray, just spray it in your mouth for you know to reach your cheeks and gums and things. It goes into effect really fast. You can do a couple of quick squirts with this. Now I'm gonna see if I can show you. This is some that I had made earlier and that I've been using. This is the other half of the gromulin. That's all it takes. That's it. Just a couple of those real quick. I do 2 or 3 sets of those, and I'm set. This is for my evening usage, for sleep pain, that sort of thing, and it is ideal. I've had others trying it out, and everybody seems to really like it, and that's why I'm showing you. I got very rave reviews about it. It's something that's easy to do. All you need is a bit of shatter, a little bit of alcohol, and a little bit of glycerin, and a little bit of mint oil, which is this one that I just used. This one here. This one I'm cleaning out. But this one I just used. I put a couple of drops of mint in it before I put the concoction in it. I don't know exactly what to call it, whether to call it a tincture or spray, or because it's not. I guess it could be used as a tincture if you wanted to use a dropper or something, but its actual intention is an oral spray, so I'll just call it the spray. How's that? Anyway, I'm going to let it sit for a while. I'm going to go over and roll one and enjoy myself for a moment, and I'll return and then I'll show you just exactly how to use it. And I guarantee you, this is very strong. The one that I've been using, I only used a half a gram in all of that instead of 1 gram. So today was ratcheting it up in order to increase the dosage, so you'd have to do fewer sprays. And right now, the way this is, you don't have to do a lot of sprays anyway. But this is to kick it up. You could also, if you wanted a high CBD, all you do is substitute, you know, that for this high THC strain. If you wanted to blend the strains, whatever. If you wanted to use Green Dragon to make your spray, then I would suggest that you use a very cold, fairly quick wash of your extraction, and so you don't have to winterize it. You can do a longer soak on your extraction, maybe a half an hour to an hour up to 2 hours, and then winterize it before you use it, or to get rid of those waxes. Those waxes are the things is what forms along the side. So anyway, I'll be back in a bit, and we'll finish this off. Toodaloo. Whoops, I'll be back. Didn't need toodaloo. Alrighty, it's been a little over an hour since we put all of this together, and nothing has changed really, and that's basically the good thing, you know. So now, what we're going to do, as you can see, it's just a slightly cloudy. That's due to the glycerin, but it's homogeneous. Okay, now the way that we're going to use this, we're going to use it as an oral spray. And the way that I'm going to do it today, I have another one of these little bottles. They're just really nice and convenient. So if you have a little bottle like this, then it's a perfect way to use it. But in most cases, most people are going to have something like this with a spray top. There, like that. Can't always see where my camera is pointing. And then it fits on top. This is a 1 ounce bottle. This is a food grade sprayer. Unfortunately, I do not know what the volume is. I already had it before I had it here for another purpose and never did use it for that. So I'm just going to go ahead here. I'm going to pour it in here, but I'm not going to do that yet. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and fill my little bottle. I'm not going to flavor this just yet, but you can do so. I'm going to flavor this one. And that way, if I should decide on another flavor, then, I can use another small bottle, or the next small bottle could use something like lemon lime or cinnamon or something that's going to match the profile of the alcohol glycerin combination. So, first thing I'm going to do is open my flavoring. I'm going to take my little bitty old dropper here, and I'm going to put, I think, 3 drops in this. 1, 2, 3. Put that back over there. Okay, now I'm going to fill this with 7 milliliters of my oral spray solution. If I can get it up here full enough. Okay, there's 3. Okay, now I am seeing just a little bit of something floating on the water. I believe it's probably from the BHO since I didn't see it, but it's negligible. It's nothing to worry about. Besides, you always shake your spray beforehand. But it's, as I say, it's nothing. It's residue from the mixture of the two. Okay, that was 3. Let's see if I can get it back. Another 3 here. Okay. There's 6. So we only want one more milliliter. Okay, there's half. There's 1. There we go. Now, I'm going to take our little sprayer. As you can see, it's a real tiny sprayer, so you're not going to be able to get, it's just not going to hold a lot per spray. So it makes for a really nice quick pump. I can smell the mint. Shake it up there. Okay. Making sure it's mint enough. Give it a quick try here. Oh, very good. It's got a bit of a mint tingle to it to take care of the any burn that's there, but it tastes like, it tastes like Shatter actually. It's delicious. Boy, oh boy. That is really good. And I think you're going to like this. Now, one thing you may want to do, depending on what type of concentrate you're using, if you want to winterize it first, and then if you're doing it yourself. But it's not a big thing. With this one, I'm getting a little more residue on the side. It's not something that I didn't overall expect, but it's actually more than I had with the half a gram of just gromulin, but it's negligible. So now I'm going to pour the rest. This is probably how most people are going to do it. I also have a tall 2-ounce. This gets a little more volume into the sprayer, and it's a little bit wider sprayer. Also tube, I should say. So just pour that in. One-ounce bottle is a little bigger than 1 ounce. Then we'll just screw our cap on, and it's ready for use. And even without mint flavoring, that's pretty good. It tastes like BHO. Very good. Anyway, that pretty much brings our little video to an end. It was just something that I wanted to share with you. It is really a really really good way to dose. You know, it's kind of like microdosing since you're doing it sublingually. You know, it doesn't take 40, 50, 100 milligrams of an edible to get you. I have a good size tolerance, and I have no problem with these. Usually with the half strength one. This one is double of this one, so there's now a half strength one. This took about six really short, quick sprays with it, and I was off to the races. I guess you could say. Actually, I was mellowed out. You know, pain was gone. You know, I was able to sleep very well. Another thing that I noticed from the oral application is that my sinuses cleared up. My overnight, because of medications I take, I usually have horrible dry mouth. Plus, occasionally wake up with my mouth open, and of course that dries you out even more. There's nothing the biotine can do anything for, So you just kind of grin and bear it, especially if you smoke pot, before you all day, or before you go to bed, or whatever. And since I've been using this, whenever I'm using it in the evening, I do not get the extremely dry mouth, the cotton mouth. It's really nice to wake up with that not present. So anyway, that's going to do it from here for today. Again, this will be included with a post on my thread on grasscityforums.com, the incredible edible herbs section. My thread is called Another Tincture Thread. Try it, you'll like it. The link will be in the comments section. And that's going to do it for now. You're more than welcome to log in there and post any comments along with here at YouTube. So that's it for today. Y'all have a good one. Toodaloo.